Welcome back to Mike's Miniatures, the place for all things mini wargaming. And in today's Chaos Faction episode, we are going to talk about how to start a Thousand Sons army. But first and foremost, I just gotta let this out there, you guys. Magnus did nothing wrong. Now that that's out of the way, let's talk about the Thousand Sons. So the Thousand Sons are obviously a Chaos faction of Space Marines here. They are the heavy Psyker faction. They're kind of like if Space Marines had more Grey Knights being more streamlined, or if your Space Marine chapter was almost entirely made of librarians. This is basically the Thousand Sons, and it's all Chaos themed. They still have their Primarch, Magnus the Red, who is the one who likes to lead this force here, and he's the red bird dude right there in this image. And they're famous for, one, Magnus apparently not doing anything wrong, and the second, their major feud with the Space Wolves for back during the Horus Heresy when they fell to Chaos. They were originally supposed to just be rounded up, but Horus had tricked and garbled the orders to the Space Wolves and told them, no, you're not supposed to capture and take prisoner the Thousand Sons to be charged for their crimes. You'd go ahead and just execute them. And so since then, they've had an extreme feud with the Space Wolves moving forward from there. And with some shenanigans like that, these Marines are actually not even really alive anymore. There's only about 1,000 of them, hence the Thousand Sons. It's always a theme with their lore and story. And the Rubric Marines, which is the standard Marine that you see here, they're not even actually in the armor. They're more or less just a soul or spirit that's made out of dust that's possessing the armor here, which is very thematic and cool. So if you like Space Wizards with a heavy Egypt theme, this is definitely the army for you, especially if you love the psychic abilities of the army and just summoning demons and things like that. These are the way to go here. But how would you start this combat army here? And that's obviously with the combat patrol for the Thousand Sons. Now, this box is going to come with 15 models to begin with here. Right front and center, we're going to have a Demon Prince, which you can build either at like he is on the box art or have him with the wings. I'm just going to say let's keep it simple and follow the box art and don't give him the wings right here. It's like a 10-point difference if you do give him the wings and he has like better movement and such. And then you're going to have a Tzaangor Shaman. This is like a leader unit for your weird bird, goat, human, demon things, which are the second most popular unit within this army. Aside from your regular Space Marines, you have these demons that will help them. This is their chaff unit for this army, that if they die, they die. They're there to help you obtain your secondaries and farm win points and things like that by sitting on the objectives while your Marines do all the actual work right here. To go along with that Tzaangor Shaman, we have Tzaangor Enlightened right here, and these are the guys they have melee weapons here. You could also build them with the sorcery bows and things like that, but Combat Patrol wants you to have them with the melee, and these guys are basically your mounted. Them with the Shaman are like your mounted units kind of a deal. And then from there, the box will come with 10 Rubric Marines, which is your standard Space Marine for this force right here. This box will come up to about 475 points without any enhancements on the Tzaangor Shaman or anything like that here. And MSRP, normally it is 170 from Games Workshop, but just like everything else with Chaos, if a faction is either doing well or if they aren't quite not seeing the sales that Games Workshop likes to see, they'll put it as out of stock or temporarily out of stock, and they'll do it for long enough that even third-party sellers have to get rid of their discounts. So you can still get this box at Amazon at the regular MSRP price, but if you try to get this from Games Workshop or any of their MSRP like stores and that, they're going to tell you that it's out of stock and things like that. So if you want to start this army, use the affiliate link obviously down below to get this Combat Patrol while Amazon still has it. And I'm sure pretty soon it'll be just like the Death Guard from the last video. When I recorded that video, they were out, and literally like the day after the video dropped, it suddenly was all over Amazon and back in stock again. So Games Workshop will do that now and again. We'll see after I post this video if they're going to do the exact same thing for the Thousand Sons. But how would I expand from here? I would honestly give your Tzaangors some more units to just kind of sit on the objectives here and get 2 more boxes of 10 Tzaangors. They normally will come like this with like the sword and board and things like that. And you can actually, here's a fun fact, if you play Age of Sigmar, the fantasy version of Warhammer, you can use these in the Age of Fantasy if you do the regular sword and shield and things like that. So these models can go for both games, or even with one-page rules as kind of like your bird demons for a chaos or chaotic faction kind of a deal here. They do have upgrade sprues that allows you to have like a chainsword and bolter, and honestly you could get that if you want to, but to save money, just do the regular swords and shields. There's nothing wrong with that. And then I would just get a single box of Rubric Marines just to fill out the rest of your Marines here. That will help flesh this army out for thematic right now. And then the next set of purchases I would do from there is let's get some heavy firepower and get 2 boxes of the Scarab Occult Terminators. These are your heavy hitters, and they have the deep strike ability just like any other Terminator, so they can, by turn 2 or whatnot, just deep strike into the middle of the battlefield. Very thematic with the warp energies. They don't use like teleportation homers or anything like the Imperium Terminators do. These guys use psychic might to just transport onto the field. Very cool that way. And just like from the video game Space Marine 2, Heldrake just screams Thousand Sons to me. So for the vehicle unit, I would definitely try to get a Heldrake. It fits the theme of Thousand Sons. It's got trim everywhere. So just go ahead and maybe try getting one of these and just play around and see how it is. Again, this army, the suggestions that I'm giving you guys is a thematic army list. This is not Optim build for basically tournament style or anything like that, because if you follow this and think you're going to win at tournaments, especially when you're starting out, I'm sorry to disappoint, you probably won't, because I personally I've lost more than I've won games, but I've had more fun because I've built to a theme. So, and speaking of with theme, let's get some different leader units other than the shaman by getting an Infernal Master, as well as a Sorcerer Lord in Terminator armor. So you can have your Infernal Master kind of pair with your Rubric Marines, whether you keep them as the 2 squads of 10 or whatnot, and then the Sorcerer Lord and Terminator army, if you pair the 2 Terminators together for one big squad of 10, just have him partner up with them, and that's just a big old wall of magical beat stick kind of a deal for your army to go right there. And then we do need a better, these guys are general like lieutenant kind of models is how I would thematically use them. There's great supports here. To give them the biggest leader punch here, I'd get this Armour. This is a named epic character that is a very good warlord leader for the army. As you can see, he has the floating disc like your Tzaangor units have, and so he can just zip around, kind of buff and attack and things like that. Definitely a very fun character from the looks of it here. But this is kind of how the army would look like after you've gotten the whole thing, and this totals up to 1,650 point army right here. So you've definitely got plenty of room to get other vehicles or enhancements on your character leaders and things like that, to kind of flesh this out to however you want it to be. But if you were just kind of starting out and wanted a feel of a thematic list for this, this is kind of how I would go if I was to start a Thousand Sun army at this point in time in 2025 right here. We'll see in a couple years when I revisit all the factions if there's any major changes, how we would start it again and see how much things have changed. But moving forward, let's say you don't want to get vehicles, but you want to keep more with the thematic here. The next thing I would probably get, let's get Magnus the Red. He's 420 points. 420, nice. But he's a magical monstrosity right here. A lot of wounds. MSRP, he's 170, same as a combat patrol. And just like Mortarion and Angron and all the other Chaos Primarchs that we have here, this guy, I've been told by others, is an extremely he's difficult, but he's a fun project build, especially with all the feathers in his wings, trying to do those details and that. All in all, definitely a fun one to kind of get here. Amazon affiliate link, like I said down below, you can get it at a very good discount at 141, which is probably what I would hope that the Combat Patrol will drop down to when it comes back more into stock. But this is how I would definitely get him to lead the army. And so that's basically the 1,000 Sons, you guys. That has been my month of August for the month of chaos, since Games Workshop couldn't bother a couple months ago to give us the month, or even last year, the year of chaos, we didn't even get much. So I hope you've enjoyed this month of being chaotic as it has been. But yeah, leave a comment, like, subscribe if you guys would, and share the video for following. This community is continually growing, and I am very thankful that you guys are able to enjoy these videos. Please use affiliate links down below for this or any other army that you'd like. And until next time, guys, I've been Mike, and this is Mike's Miniatures, and bye-bye.